Carver PM350 Power Amplifier Productions presents, in conjunction with AM Loop Antenna Hot Glued to the Wall Productions. So now we're looking at my carpet, and here's something that I picked up at a local antique mall, and it's a transistor radio. Now, there's nothing in particular special about this transistor radio, besides the fact of its build quality and the issue I had with it whenever I had it. First few days I had it, I've been noticing that it would steadily lose volume after playing for a while, and I suspected electrolytic capacitors was going bad. Well, that wasn't the issue at hand. Actually, the audio amplifier section of this transistor radio had been malfunctioning, and as the transistors warmed up, their bias would change, and it was affected by the thermistor inside, and that helps to kind of make up for the losses and the differences as transistors warm up and change during use. And there was a bad solder connection on one side of that thermistor, and I actually found that by accident looking around at the capacitors, writing down the values. I bumped it and it came loose, and I resoldered it. I actually have videos on that, and it restored this radio to proper operation. The leather case has a carrying handle. I actually use it when it's on its shelf. I just use it like that to kind of hold it up and, look at it every day or so, because I like radios. And here's the leather case. It's very gorgeous, very nice. It's not in bad shape either, like most of them that I find. And here's a special message to anyone on the antique radio forums. Yes, I still have my account on there, and yes, I will be posting more online. I have totally forgotten that I had an account and neglected to post anything on there for several months now. So this will be one of my first posts on that website. So let's take a look at the radio. Let's pull it out of its little case. Now, the case is in good condition, of course. There's no rips, especially right here, along this area right here. I had to glue it with super glue just to kind of get it to stay together because it was broken. Not completely broken in half, but it was about to rip, and I mess with my radios a lot, so I didn't want it to rip. This radio's model is TR1820. It features 8 transistors, 1 thermistor, and 1 diode. Don't you wish people would tell you what's inside their products these days? Yeah, me too. It has a, I don't know what size that is, but it's smaller than a 1/8 inch or standard size headphone jack. It's monophonic, and all it does is it unswitches or unhooks the speaker and directs the amplifier's power to your headphones. I cleaned the potentiometer on this thing on the volume control because it was really scratchy. If anything, I could barely get any audio out of it. And once you get it to a position that it works, I was able to get audio, and that's when I found out it lose audio because of the unhooked thermistor on the amplifier. But that being said, the volume control keeps getting dirty, so we could turn it back on. I worked it a few times before I turned it on, so it's not really dirty now. Overall, it's in good condition. It was able to polish out all of the smudges and dirt, and the grill is very nice. I like this beveled shape. It's got like a little, like a bubble. So let's take a look at its sound quality.
Mess this up.
Okay.
I want to set you. I kind of want to set you free. Okay.
9:37 at night.
That, we changed churches a few years ago, and what we did at that time, and it took us a.
I'm not able to pick up a whole lot in here, but
Because if you guys win this division, if the Eagles win this division, and you tell me in next year's draft, wherever they fall to in the draft, you tell me next year's draft they go out and draft a quarter. Tigers, Salts, Game 3. Series goes to Detroit. We'll talk about that. We'll get you set for the week in the NFL coming up. Lincoln Kennedy, Anthony Gargano, where the fellas on fire.
so the dial pointer is very nice.
Let me
It's got pretty good performance to be all original. This would probably be my first Realtone transistor radio. I've not had anything from their brand name in a very long time. I've had these radios before, not this model, but a similar Realtone. It didn't work. There's a lower end model with just the tuning wheel acting as the dial band, which just had silk screened numbers on it, with a little hole in the front of the front plate or above the speaker as a tuning dial, as a lot of my radios have. But this one, they decided to take it a step forward and had dial string and everything inside there. I can't take it apart. I got videos on the repair of this, which I'll upload later. And yeah, I mean, it's a full-blown tuning dial. And this is what it looks like inside of its case. Let me go ahead and do that. And it does change the sound quite a bit when it's inside the case, too.
Two guys are giving up a 3-run homer and it's over. That's what he did.
It could probably benefit from a realignment. Because the audio quality, it might even be capacitors. The fact that it works all original like that is amazing. It has a slightly crummy quality to it. It's still very beefy sound and still sounds good and picks up plenty. And that is the True Tone transistor radio. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, and before I end this video, I'm going to take a look inside with you guys. Something that sets this radio apart from others is the fact that the quality of the chassis is pretty decent. You can see the tuning capacitors, the miniature type. I don't know if it has an actual name. It's made by San-Isu Electronics in Japan. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. Take a good look at that. There we go. So that's the tuning capacitor. And you can see right over here where I resoldered the thermistor right there in the center of your screen. The volume control wheel. And I was actually able to fit a modern 9-volt battery in there, because a lot of the modern 9-volt batteries are a little bit bigger than the originals. Inside it's got a list of replacement batteries. And I think the Everready number 216 still exists, and the Rayovac 1604 still exists. The rest of these I've never honestly seen, and I'm pretty sure they're discontinued battery types, but they all are pretty much just look like this. What's a transistor radio video without looking at the speaker? This was glued down, but the glue has since then disappeared. Here's the speaker. 0.1 watts, but it'll definitely scream. So I'm going to go ahead and put the battery back in there. Now, another thing that's kind of neat is, it tells you what you have on the back. Look through the screen. There's a screen in there. Most radios don't even put anything on the back cover, not even foam. They went to go with foam to prevent vibration. And they prevented dust from getting in with a screen. They even gave us a serial number and a note. It says, if service is required and the radio was purchased within the 90 days free guarantee period, include the sales receipt to validate the date of purchase. Otherwise, please include your check or money order of $3 to cover service, handling, and postage, etc. For damage not covered by warranty, an estimate will be forwarded to you before repairs are made. It says, before returning radio for service, please check with a fresh battery. And a lot of my transistor radios are so cheap that they don't even really give you any idea what kind of battery you're supposed to use. It's supposed to be just a guess. No, let alone polarity or the warranty. There was no warranty for things like that. So this transistor radio was a higher end, but still a Japanese type transistor radio, because basically how I look at radios back then is if you have American, which is really high end, then you had Japanese, were significantly cheaper, and more mass-produced than your average American-made transistor radio. Case is a little difficult to put back together due to the bigger battery size, and that is the transistor radio, but from Realtone with its little case. I enjoy this little unit. I take it out every once in a while and give it some playtime. I don't just buy these things and put them on a shelf. I actually use them. Thanks for watching. Besides the fact of its build quality and the issue I had with it whenever I had it, first few days I had it, I've been noticing that it would steadily lose volume after playing for a while. Carver PM350 Power Amplifier Productions presents, in conjunction with AM Loop Antenna Hot Glued to the Wall Productions. So now we're looking at my carpet, and I suspected electrolytic capacitors was going bad. Well, that wasn't the issue at hand. Actually, the audio amplifier section of this transistor radio had been malfunctioning. Here's something that I picked up at a local antique mall, and it's a transistor radio. Now, there's nothing in particular special about this transistor radio.